all your family members, all your friends. You're looking after your putty cats, your beautiful dogs. You're looking after just friends and people in the world you know that don't even know, just to make this world a kinder place. Today I've woken up, I had such a deep sleep last night. I put some earplugs in because it can be noisy sometimes, and I had such a deep sleep I can't even seem to wake up at the moment. Seriously, I've had about 3 coffees and I'm still not waking up. So if I bundle through this and make a mistake, just forgive me, because I'm really tired today. Thank you. So today we're actually looking at the news, Ripple XRP news from the 31st of December through to yesterday or today. And like everything, I always say this every time I do Ripple news and XRP news, it's always so much, and we're only talking about, 2 weeks or something like that. So the first thing is Ripple, Reuters came out with Ripple targets partnerships with Brazil, with banks in Brazil in 2020. And it looks like the Brazilian connection is going to be a very, very good client for Ripple particularly. Essentially, Brazil is a fairly big country, as I've said. It's about 270 million people in Brazil, and it is a fairly large remittance market as well, and they are very proactive when it comes to cryptocurrency, and it's going to be a very big client for Ripple. So according to central bank data, Brazil remits from January to November totaled 4.6 billion, which is quite a lot, and that's a 10% increase year on year. So this is a very, very big client for Ripple. Also, it's a growing population, a very young population, which means it's a very young population which obviously will buy cryptocurrency and will be heavy users of mobiles. If you look at the cryptocurrency research that every investment house or chartered accounting firm has actually brought out, and particularly Deloitte's or KPMG, essentially they say that the younger people, the millenniums, don't want to buy traditional assets like equities or bonds or real estate. They actually want to buy cryptocurrency. So Brazil has a very young population, and it's certainly a very, very big client for Ripple in that aspect. According to Insights, Brad Carlinghouse expects the top 20th banks going forward, banking institutions in the world, to hold and trade digital assets, and that's a very, very big story in itself. Now, I don't know whether you guys caught yesterday or the day before, Fidelity got their first huge client in the UK. Now, Fidelity, and I've mentioned Fidelity before, and keep an eye on Fidelity, they're really important. They're a very large fund manager, institutional fund manager that manages all the different traditional asset classes. They have about $2 trillion under management, and their CEO has been in cryptocurrency for about 5 years. Now, she's a female, and her name I think is, I can't remember her name, but anyway, she's been mining cryptocurrency for about 5 or 6 years. They've been there before anyone else, and now they're into custody big time, and they just put on a very large client in the UK. Now, I know other banks are looking and other fund managers are looking to go into custody, but just keep an eye on Fidelity particularly. Nomura are talking about custody as well, and also Northern Transfer are also looking at custody. So it really bodes well for cryptocurrency going forward in this year, particularly 2020, because literally so many people are interested in holding cryptocurrency. And if institutions can hold cryptocurrency without having to worry about their security, then I believe it's going to be a very, very big year for XRP, okay? Absolutely. So keep an eye on those institutions that I've actually mentioned. Now, number 2, XRP, with their channel with Bitrue Exchange, have done more volume than ever before, and that volume is increasing with the Mexican peso. Now, I think I've got figures here of the 10 million odd, but this volume is increasing even more and more, okay? So, and again, Mexico, keeping that in mind, is the third largest remittance country in the world. They do something like 40 billion in remittance, okay? Now don't forget, Ripple is also in India. India is the largest remittance country in the world, one of the largest, and they do something like 70 billion. And also, don't forget, Ripple are also in China, which is possibly the largest or the second largest remittance country in the world, with their company called Liu, which they've got a direct, they're a direct client. They do RippleNet and they also do XRP. So a lot of people are interested in getting China, certainly Visa is, and Ripple's already there. So there's a lot going on with Ripple that I just wanted to add to this presentation. I just wanted to make people aware of that if they weren't already aware of that. We go to the next slide. More banks, as we said, are using RippleNet and XRP, and it's a great story. Also, nearly every Japanese bank is using XRP. The Japanese are very, very bullish XRP with CBI, and just have a look at that article there. They're doing more and more and more, okay? Now, again, I want to bring this to your attention as well. Brad Garlinghouse has come out, and I believe this, and I'll repeat this. There's more than 3,000 cryptocurrencies out there, according to CoinMarketCap, and literally 99% of these cryptocurrencies barely have liquidity, they don't get traded, and there's no utility, and they will just fall off the radar or go broke. So really be careful with what you invest in, because there's so many cryptocurrencies out there that just don't have any utility. If they don't have any utility, they shouldn't be worth any money. It's just that simple, okay? That simple. And also what I want to say in this presentation is, don't always believe everything you read in the media. I've read so many media stories lately, and the media are like sheep, seriously. Half the time they don't even know what they're talking about. Half the time they follow someone else's article, and the article is just not right. And I'll point out a few of those as we go forward so you can have a look. So please do take care when you're using exchanges. Stick with the big ones, Bernard's, Coinbase, Gemini, seriously, because it's not worth, Bitfinex, Bitrue, whatever. It's not worth losing your coins, okay, or your tokens on a or a scammy or an exchange that lies, okay? Now, I've done a lot of reports on exchange trading volume, and there's a lot of exchanges out there that lie about the volume they're doing and lie about how much they're doing in terms of liquidity indices and all that sort of thing, okay? So just stick to the main ones, all right? That's what I will say. Now, there's an article here also about XRP being adopted by almost every Japanese bank, which is fantastic. XRP is going to do so well in Japan, it's not funny, okay? And it's a very, very bullish story going forward. There's no doubt about it. We look at the next one. RippleNet partnered with Wirex, and again announced a partnership, which is huge, okay? Wirex has managed to process over 2.6 billion in transactions over 130 currencies, right? And they're all over the world, okay? Now, this is what Ripple does, okay? They just don't get one client, but they get a client with networks and with millions and millions of clients, okay? So Ripple has 300 clients, but those 300 clients have millions of clients, and people need to be looking at that, okay? So say, for example, they put on the Siam Bank in Thailand, which is a big client for Ripple, right? And XRP, but they have 16 million clients, right? It's like they put in PNC, a big bank in America. How many clients they have? They have 8 million clients. So when the media reports Ripple only has 300 clients, they don't. If we just look at 2 clients alone of Ripple's, potentially Ripple has 16 million plus 8 million. You know what I'm saying? So, that's, how many is that? 16 million, 8, that's 24 million in 2 clients, right? Ripple is very smart on the strategy side, the sales side. They have clients of clients. And this is why XRP, in my mind, will be adopted worldwide. Not just in the banking industry, but by people. Anyone that says XRP is a banking coin are just sitting in la la land. Every client that deals with a bank or anywhere else that knows that they're dealing with Ripple or RippleNet will be able to use XRP and RippleNet, okay? It's just that easy and that sensible to think that, okay? It's just obvious, all right? Absolutely obvious. So this Wirex thing is a fantastic story. Not only that, I want to point out RippleNet itself is not just a payment platform. RippleNet itself is an ICO platform, okay? So RippleNet in itself is in competition not only with Ethereum, which is an ICO platform, as you know, in competition with Waves, which is an ICO platform. It's in competition with EOS, which is an ICO platform, okay? Now EOS, what a joke that was. $4.4 billion ICO that went for a year and a half, got $4.4 billion out of the community, crypto community, and effectively is still trading about $3.46 or something. And all it does is an ICO. And all it is an ICO platform. And where's the evidence for anything else? Where are the clients? Where is anything? What a joke that is. You know, the issue of that coin, you know, the founders of that coin have made billions out of the stupid cryptocurrency market, seriously. And yet, Ripple is an ICO platform, okay? An ICO platform. Plus, Ripple is also, Ripple can also, as this suggests, you know, can be a platform to put songs on, okay? So in other words, Ripple also, if it's a platform to put songs on, the RippleNet X Ledger, then Ripple is also in competition with Tron, okay? Ripple's Director of Product Craig DeWitt has built a platform called X Songs. The platform allows artists to sell their music in XRP and keep 100% of revenue. This is a personal thing of Mr. DeWitt's. He's personally funding the project, and it's basically on top of XRP's ledger. Okay, so not only that, but now we've got ICOs. We've always known that Ripple's had a platform for ICOs, but you know, it's got a platform for selling songs. So we know that it's in competition with all the other platforms out there, the cryptocurrency platforms, because it can do ICOs. And now it's got a platform to do songs. So now it's in competition with, you know, entertainment type cryptocurrencies like Tron, for example. Okay, so if we go forward, leading into the rally that we saw yesterday, which was wonderful, we had all these massive movements in XRP out of different wallets. Okay, and these were highlighted by some of these stories. This much money, you know, 200 mil going into Mr. Chris Larson's folder, wallet, and all these sort of things. Okay. Also, Trader Crypto Wolf remarked before the rally that Ripple was also, it's technically speaking, it was in a big falling wedge, right? Which means a very, very bullish signal for XRP, and certainly we did see that breakout yesterday, which was lovely in itself. Okay. So these are some of the stories just from December the 30th to the 15th of January, and it never ceases to amaze me, as I said before, just how much there is always of Ripple and XRP in the media. But what does annoy me sometimes is certainly some of the stories in the media are just incorrect about what they talk about with RippleNet, and that just really annoys me. And I'll bring those up in this presentation as well. So another thing too, on my FlixChimp, my Patreon, and you'd see that if you're a subscriber of either of those. Now, Patreon is very cheap. It's only $10 to $20. Or if you want to get a Slack membership, it's going to cost you $45 a month. It's as cheap as chips, seriously. But I do some seriously good work in there. And I don't always put it on YouTube, and I'm sorry about that. But a girl's got to afford to live, seriously. And in the last couple of years, I haven't been able to afford to live. Okay, I've used all my savings to do this business. It's just a fact. But what I did bring up in RippleNet and Patreon, FlixChimp and Patreon, and I told you I was tired today, so if I make a few mistakes, please forgive me, because I'm really tired. Family Vid 1 sent me this, and I really appreciate it, thank you, about Ripple doing private placements through EquityZen. And I did a video about this, which was, you know, if you want to buy it or go to my Patreon, about Ripple can IPO earlier than you'd think, initial public offering. And I do believe that because already they're doing private placements, okay? They're already doing private placements, which means it's not yet put on the exchange, the equity exchange. They haven't yet registered a prospectus with the Security Exchange Commission, and they haven't got a secondary market. But the fact that they're already doing private placements, and every time they do a private placement, it gets taken up by an institutional investor as quick as you can blink an eyelid, tells you something about what the market's thinking, all right? Now, last December 2019, it got put on there at $13 US plus fees at $13.50, right, per share. Okay, now that's a great story in itself. If you could buy some Ripple at $13, if I could, I'd put my house on, I'd sell my house, literally, because that's how much I believe in Ripple and how much I believe in XRP. But what this also shows you is, and some people believe that doing an IPO would be negative, I don't. What this shows you how underpriced XRP is, okay? Now, let me explain this. XRP is a funding tool like anything else. Yes, it's attached to crypto technology, but it is a funding tool. So in other words, you do an ICO or you issue XRP and you get money in, all right? Just like a bond. You issue a bond, the investors buy it, and the company gets money in. Just like equity. You issue equity, the company issues equity, and the investors buy the equity and the company gets money in, okay? But what it tells you with the bond issue and what it tells you with the equity issue, just how cheap XRP is. Now, in my Patreon and FlexChamp, I also did a valuation on Ripple and XRP using another valuation model. There's many different types of valuation models, and I use book value because you know the equity they've got, you know the debt they've got, and so you can do a total assets valuation. Very, very simple. And with that, you can work out what the price of XRP is if there was an asset swap supposed to be done, okay? Now, I hope it's not too technical for people. So within that, on Patreon FlexChamp, I showed what the price of XRP should be, and I showed you what would happen if an asset swap was done. Now, an asset swap is, is a structured deal by an investment bank for a firm like Ripple, where you can swap anything, okay? It's not a standardized product. It's a standardized, it's a non-standardized product made specifically for the client, and it doesn't have to be a security. All right, and that's really important. It doesn't have to be a security. They will do a tailored asset swap for the client that is a specialized finance type transaction with a derivative attached to it, okay? It can be derivatives or anything, and it doesn't have to be exchange traded or anything, and that's really important to know as well. But what I want to say is you can get a valuation of XRP, and essentially you can get a valuation of the company, and it proves that XRP has value. Now, I've done a valuation of XRP, as you know, last year or whenever it was, and I came up with whatever it was, $334 US per 1 unit of XRP. I've also done another valuation of XRP, which I'm bringing out, as I said, on Udemy, and I will be bringing out part of it on Patreon and FlexChamp, but also that's a part of a course with 82 lectures on financial valuations of all the asset classes, and had all the different valuation models. There's thousands of valuation models, and they all have their pros and their cons. They all have their negatives and their positives. Now, most people bang on about valuations, and they go on about the market cap, right? The market cap is a very, very simple valuation. Very simple indeed. It's simple, and like it says, it's simple. It has a lot of problems with it. The market cap, as you know, only looks at the issuing amount, of the crypto by the price, all right? So it could look at circulating or total crypto issuance. But a lot of financial market commentators or whatever look at the market price or their journos or whatever you want to call it, and they go, ooh, this is expensive because, Ripple has, 39 bill out there or 100 bill or whatever, and the price is this. The market cap is not correct. It's only looking at two components, the issue and the price. If a company has the same issuance and the same price as XRP, but it issues 100 billion of debt, right? Technically, the asset position is zero. It's worthless because it has 100 billion of debt. It can have the same market cap as XRP, but it issues 100 billion of debt. It has 100 billion of debt. In other words, it's going broke. Okay? That's why market cap is so erroneous. A company with the same market cap are not the same, because market cap doesn't look at the debt on the other side, the liability side of the balance sheet. It doesn't look at revenue. It doesn't look at expenses. It doesn't look at contingent liabilities. Say the company with 100 billion of debt also has lawyers, breathing down its throat because it's being sued billions and billions of dollars for killing someone or whatever. Okay? The company is broke, and it's not the same. So Ripple, that has 100 million market cap or whatever, and company B that has 100 million is actually in a negative asset position, owes money because they have got a contingent liability, someone suing them, or they've got 100 billion in debt. So market cap is a very simple valuation model, and it's erroneous. Now, I know the whole market uses that, but it's not correct because it's not looking at everything else. All right, as I said, with the debt thing, the debt story, or the prospects or anything else, right? Ripple, XRP for what it is not expensive, but market cap is the wrong valuation model to use. It's too simple and it doesn't look at the whole story, okay? Two companies with the same market cap are not equal, because one company can have a negative asset position and be sued from here to, Timbuktu. Okay, let's go on. So the next one, Bernard's put XRP futures on their trading platform, which is great. Sorry, I'm getting a sore throat because I've already said this twice. When I talk too much, I get a sore throat. Now, with normally with futures on the traditional exchanges, they're basically standardized futures, okay? This should be standardized futures. I don't know why I put computers. It shows you I'm half asleep. With perpetuals, the futures position has no expiry date. With standardized futures, they'll often be every 3 months. They'll expire, and there'll be a cash delivery or a physical delivery, okay? But with a perpetual XRP futures, it just goes on, and there's no expiry date. So Bernard's has put those on. That's great for XRP. Then there's a story here about Swift and about 10%. I read this story, and this is where I got really annoyed, because I read in this article, I realized this guy was talking about my research. When I bought this out about the XRP valuation, a year and a half ago at 334 US. And not one part of this story did this person quote me as a source. And that really, I got to say, pissed me off. In other words, this is plagiarism, right? And one thing I will do always, if I say something, I can support everything I say, right? By a reference or by proper research. Exactly everything I do. And this, I have to say, really annoyed me, because this person was just quoting what I had already said with my evidence-based valuation on a proper spreadsheet and everything, exactly how financial market professionals do valuations, and yet this person didn't even name me as a source. And I tell you that there's nothing that pisses me off more than that, seriously, because it's plagiarism. And in university, if you did that and you were writing a thesis or a PhD program, they would kick you out. Seriously, that's seriously bad. Anyway, going on, Bernard's thing's great. As we know, it's really, and we don't know why XRP started moving, but certainly everything that started moving, we're all very happy, okay? Absolutely. Now, MoneyGram is doing bigger things. Their transactions have increased tenfold. MoneyGram revealed that it's estimated that 3 billion smart users and changing customer behaviour have called for transformation. So, and this is a story that I've been talking about. Many people want to use their smartphones to do transactions, and this is great for MoneyGram, this is great for Ripple and XRP, seriously, because going forward, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. The millennials don't want to go to banks. They don't want to, buy traditional assets. They don't want to buy equities. They don't want to buy property. They don't want to buy bonds. They want to buy cryptocurrency, and they want to transact on their phone. So it so happens that Ripple's in every country where the population age, is young, in the Asian countries, right? Or the Middle Eastern countries, or India. Whereas the G7 countries or the Western countries, the population is quite old. Okay, so the millennials, are in the young countries, like, the young countries like Indonesia, and the average age is quite young because, they have a lot of children, this sort of thing, okay? So it's a great story. MoneyGram also reported that, they've had groundbreaking records year on year with amazing transactions going through, like up 70 or 80%. Now, it's no wonder that there's companies on the equity market that want to buy out MoneyGram. Early last year it was Alibaba, and then recently it was someone else. It doesn't surprise me because MoneyGram is very cheap, and it's no wonder people are looking to take MoneyGram over, okay? Because it's just going to get better and better and better, and it's a great client of RippleNet. And look, also saying this, and I'll say it again, Ripple has 300 clients, but the thing is, Ripple have more than 300 clients. MoneyGram has millions of clients, right? The Siam Bank has millions of clients. PNC has millions of clients. So 3 clients. Ripple has exposure to 30 million clients. It's not just 300 clients. The press doesn't report it properly. Ripple has exposure by one client who has a network of clients. So a network of clients, right? So 3 clients equates to 30 million clients. Ripple are going to be everywhere. And if people don't believe that, they better start looking at the facts, because it is a fact. I'm not bringing this out of the air from nowhere. Ripple and XRP will be #1 cryptocurrency because they have an octopus effect, and they are affecting the whole world through their client base, okay, of 300 clients, which is equivalent to, it's probably, now in the billions as time goes on, okay? And you will see that reflected in XRP's coin value. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And we'll go through and basically I'll explain more about that. Okay, so this also, I like this article. Please do have a look at this. I was talking very approvingly of XRP, and I like the article very much. The person that wrote this knew what they were doing and understood XRP and RippleNet. They had a price on this article of $20 US, and basically they had that price last year as a target price, and they assume that that's going to happen this year, okay? They said that there's incredible adoption and demand for XRP and Ripple, and it is growing all the time, and I agree with this article, so please do look at this article. Probably one of the first positive articles I've seen for some time that know what they're talking about. Another article came out, and this one just annoyed me, I have to say. They were coming up with a 224 behind this XRP and on stupid numbers. Didn't really tell us how they got those numbers. And then they're going on about market capitalization of XRP, right? But again, market capitalization, as I said, has its problems, right? Big problems. And it's not to say the issuance level of XRP is always going to be the same. XRP has 100 billion. Who's to say that, 50 billion doesn't get bought back by Ripple off the market and they burn it? Who's to say that someone else, a billionaire, buys 20 billion of XRP and loses his private key? So many cryptocurrencies have been lost. Issuance doesn't stay the same over the life of a cryptocurrency or XRP. And also I've got to say with Mazzari, You know, I do subscribe to Mazari and I pay $29.99 US now. They used to be 25. I don't ask them for freebies. I get no freebies from anyone. But I've gone off Mazari's reports lately, and I tell you why. Because the fellow was writing about XRP, and he was very, very negative, and it really annoyed me. Very negative, and it wasn't justified. And then he was basically trying to get people into Greystone Investments, who actually holds XRP, and to tell people to actually go into a fund that actually manages XRP really annoyed me, because it told me that Mazari was being incredibly biased. Maybe they're getting a kickback by Greystone or Grey Wealth, whatever they're called, for the investments, and they'll know who I'm talking about. But not only that, with funds, they are expensive for management. The management gets a fee, of course. You know, it could be 1 to 2%. The fees on administration are very expensive in funds. Not only that, when there's a financial crisis like we saw in 2008, funds get locked up and the investor cannot get their money out. Okay, so you have no control over your own money. With XRP, you have control of your own money. Okay, not only that, when investors get scared or there's flight, investors get out of funds, right? So large investors will get out of funds, and if you're a small investor and a large investor's got out, you're actually going to cop the reval and the negative detriment of that fund when a large investor gets out at the low of the market. So there's many other reasons not to be in a fund, okay? But it just annoyed me because this article is very, very negative against XRP and Ripple, and then in the same hand is basically saying invest in this Greystone fund, Grey Wealth, what it's called, and who invests with XRP. So it just tells me there's a kickback, and these guys are not being unbiased, okay? And that annoys me. So I think I'm going to stop my my subscription, because I don't like that sort of biasness. I really did like the platform, but reading that report really annoyed me, I have to say. Okay, so not only that, Ripple is expanding in Asia, and they have just won a massive partnership with Siam Commercial Bank, which is absolutely awesome. Now this crowd is one of the oldest banks in Thailand. It even has the king owns 23% of this bank. They have 16 million clients. They've been around since 1907. Okay, it's just a fantastic story, right? And these guys will do XRP and use RippleNet and XRP, and with 16,000 clients, okay? And they're a very large bank. They have 27,000 employees. Now they're as big as ANZ in Australia, which has about the same employees. So this bank is very, very large indeed, okay? And they're in other countries as well as in Asia, right? Which is great. They're in, what do we got? Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar, and Vietnam. Now again, Vietnam is a country, very large population, I think 92 million off my head, and they have a very young population. So as far as I'm concerned, Ripple is in every place it needs to be, in every place, you know, where there's huge opportunity, particularly in the Asian countries, in India, in China, in the Middle East. This is a very, very big client for Ripple, because they have 16 million clients on the other side, but also the opportunities and the revenue. And people should really be looking at this, because Ripple have all these great clients on the board already. And anyone that says that they're a scam, or the technology is a scam, or they're just a bank coin or whatever, are on drugs. Because those 16 million clients will know that it's Ripple's technology that's being used, right? So it's a coin for everyone. This particular person, I won't mention his name, but he just really annoys me. And I said something on Twitter. If you go to my Twitter, I won't mention his name, because I'm not giving the guy marketing, because he makes more money than anyone telling lies. You make more money than you guys or me. I don't make a lot of money at all, and that's why, you know, I'd love you guys to support my Patreon, which is only $10 a month, or $20, or if you want Slack, which is $45, which is a part of my business communication channel with other clients. But or FlexChamp, which is great. You can get a fantastic video for, you know, £1 or £2, right? Or unless it's something really I've just spent a lot of time on. But this particular person is almost insane against Ripple and XRP, and I hope you guys know who it is. He ruminates all the time about the negatives of XRP and RippleNet. He constantly calls it a scam coin. And the reality is, if the technology didn't work, Ripple would be sued from here to Timbuktu. He just doesn't, so that he gets quoted by the newspapers and the magazines, or not newspapers, but the articles, right? The crypto articles, and he does it so he gets to sell whatever he sells and gets on the board and people pay him a speaking fee or whatever. But this guy tells lies, and it's not right, and it really upsets me because he tells so many lies about Ripple and XRP. But if you go on my Twitter, Susie Trader, my Twitter handle, you'll see who I'm talking about. But I didn't even mention his name on there because I don't want to give this guy free publicity. But he'll always be doing it, and he's just going to have egg on his face, literally, in the next year or two when XRP becomes number one. Now, if you look at my YouTubes, a year and a half ago, I was on record then for saying XRP was going to be number one, okay? So, you know, I do know my stuff, fair income, I really do. Now, the next one in here, number 20, is Google Trends last year. Ripple was basically at the top of those trends. Most people want to know in the US how to buy Ripple rather than Bitcoin, which I found quite amazing, okay? And, you know, I think it's going to be a very, very big year for XRP. Also, this fellow Larry Cermak, thank you Larry, this is from Twitter, basically said there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there, and he confirms what Brad Garlinghouse is saying, and I agree with Brad Garlinghouse. 99% of them are shit coins, there's no liquidity, there's no utility, and they're going to die, literally. And you're just going to have to be in the best cryptocurrencies that have, you know, have the numbers on the board, have the evidence that they're growing their revenue, they have client base, they have utility, you know, the technology works. I mean, Ripple's done nearly 50 million ledger tech transactions and all sorts of things in the last 7 years, and never had a problem, never been scammed, never had a hack, nothing, because their technology works. It works, and if it didn't, they would be sued. Okay, just the Siam thing again. Siam Commercial Bank, over 16 million clients, huge. All I can say is this is huge, right? Another thing, Ripple's XRP Ledger is currently looking to put on an exchange called a platform branded exchange, which is something about unmatched social network designed on the XRP Ledger, a social platform. So not only can XRP's Ledger have music on top of it, where artists can sell their music, and that's like Mikey, who's a great musician, by the way. Catch Mikey, she's awesome. I met Mikey in Amsterdam, she's lovely. You know, artists can sell their music on, you know, on the ledger of XRP. But this, now, people can do their social networking on XRP. It's a social platform. So again, RippleNet is in direct competition with Tron. Okay, amazing. XRP, RippleNet can do anything, right? And the valuation of XRP, where it is in the market, is not correct. XRP is way too cheap for what it can do. Okay, way too cheap. Now, if we look at this, 8 of the top countries using mobile payments can be found in Asia. According to a recent survey conducted by PricewaterhouseCoopers, a staggering 86% of the population in China use mobile payment apps. And in Thailand, where Ripple need to be, which they are, they use 67% of mobile phones, right? So Ripple are seriously smart. Whoever's on the sales side honestly knows what they're doing, because they're exactly where they need to be. Now, don't forget, Ripple is in China as well with Liu. It's an import-export business, and they're very well known, and they have a lot of connections in China going forward as well. Ugh. Sorry, I need a glass of water. My throat gets tired because I've already been through this 3 times. Seriously, I've been so tired today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Hope I'm not coming down with the flu or something. Okay, now today, the 15th, there is a court case to dismiss XRP as security. This thing's still going on, whether it's security or a commodity. 2124, Kyle, my client, put this up in XRP channel. Thank you, Kyle. 21 to 24th, Davos 2020 World Economic Forum. Christine Lagarde, there's going to be a big announcement. Now, don't forget, Christine Lagarde was the head of the International Monetary Fund, and now she's the head of the European Central Bank, one of the most powerful women in the world. Christine Lagarde knows about cryptocurrency. She knows about Ripple, XRP, and she knows about RippleNet. And the first thing she did when she got into being president of the European Central Bank, she put cryptocurrency technology on the board, okay? Spoke to them and put it on the map and wants to talk about that. So please keep an eye out for that. And these dates have just gone by. But honestly, these are big, right? So keep an eye on all this stuff, okay? Right, the next one is, we know about this court hearing on the 15th, which is today. I think today is 15th. And essentially, you know, the question is, it's going to be in the US District Court for the Northern District of California. Wow, how many courts do they have over there in the US? And basically, is Ripple a security or a commodity? Now, I know about a year and a half ago, I believed it was a security, but I guess there's a lot of grey with how the US regulators interpretate cryptocurrency, and I don't know, because I'm not an American, how they will interpret cryptocurrency. If it was in Australia, I'd have some idea about how, say, Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority would interpret cryptocurrency. But over there, I'm not familiar with how the Americans think about things and that and what they think about, you know, in terms of the cultural thing. So it's expected to approve or deny Ripple's final motion to toss out the suit, and you know, whether it's going to be, and hopefully it'll put to bed this whole scenario of XRP being a security or not. Now, as you know, Ethereum and Bitcoin are deemed commodities, non-securities, so are not regulated by the Security Exchange Commission. Okay, so that's going to be a big one, and a big one to keep an eye on. Also, Ripple takes another expansion move via its partner working with Ripple Tech as American Express files an application to receive a license to operate in China. This is huge, okay? This is huge. Keep an eye on this because it's seriously big. China, 1.4 billion people. We know that they use mobiles, 80% of them. This is a huge, huge story, okay? The Bank of China is looking at the license, and as we know, China is one of the biggest markets for bank card payments, and so this is a big story for RippleNet and XRP. Also, Ripple have just put on another client via MoneyGram, which is a great story in itself. Another one, 75,000 villages and 4,000 cities in India, which are going to be linked to MoneyGram and global remittance. This is huge too. I mean, this is more and more clients, more and more revenue for Ripple, and more use of XRP. XRP has so many octopus limbs going out, or what do they call them, going out. It's just amazing, right? XRP is everywhere, and it will be everywhere. And it's very, very exciting. So let's go back to this security or not. Is it a security or not? And we'll find out hopefully today. Heath Talbot, the Commissioner of Commodity Futures Trading Commission, suggested that XRP, the third biggest cryptocurrency, could be classified as security by the Security Exchange Commission. I wish these guys would make up their mind. Who knows? But then he goes on to say, why did he say that? Then he goes on to say, the situation's not clear. The token could still be considered a commodity, thus falling under the Commodity Future and Trading Commission, which means essentially that Ripple, when they issued XRP, if they're a commodity, they don't need a security. They didn't need to put up a prospectus with the Security Exchange Commission, and they didn't need to file anything with the Security Exchange Commission. But if it's deemed a commodity, a security, then they would have had to have had a prospectus and been signed off by the Security Exchange Commission, right? And clearly, you know, there's some people out there that want to basically sue Ripple because they'd say, look, we didn't know the risk of the investment. If it's security, we want our money back, right? So it means that if it's security, Ripple gets sued by the end investor because they'll be saying they wanted a prospectus and it didn't outline the risk, right? But if it's a commodity, the investor won't have a leg to stand on because Ripple, if it's a commodity, doesn't have to put up prospectus with the Security Exchange Commission or have a sign-off with the Security Exchange Commission. So let's hope this whole story is finished, because seriously, it's going on and on and on, and it's getting a bit boring. So eBix Cash is a great story. They have lots of clients. They do 3 billion every year and more. They have revenue of 35 million. This is a terrific story, seriously, and it's just another client of Ripple's, which has more and more clients. It's not just 300 clients, as I said. Ripple have a network of millions and millions and millions of clients. If we talk about PNC, you know, the bank in America, they have 8 million clients off my head. If we talk about, you know, the Siam bank in Thailand, they've just put on 16 million clients. If we talk about MoneyGram, how many clients does MoneyGram have? Millions and millions. So just 3 clients alone, we could be talking 40 to 50 million clients, which are XRP clients, okay, and Ripple's clients. Just 3 clients alone. So when the media write things, they should be talking about the networks that Ripple, Net, and XRP have, because it's not just 300 clients. It's 300 clients times how many clients those clients have, okay, which is could be millions. It's going to be, we know it's in the millions, hundreds of millions. It could be billions, and I think it's billions, okay. Now XRP and RippleNet have already clients of billions, right? If they've got clients of billions, then the cryptocurrency of XRP should not be where it is in terms of its price. It is way, way too cheap. And as I said, it's the investment of a lifetime. Seriously, investment of a lifetime. And I'll say it again, investment of a lifetime, seriously. So, okay, let's get this show on the road because it's getting longer and longer. Sorry guys, 40 minutes already. Have I got everything there? So there's some story here about Visa, you know, and there's another story about PayPal being, you know, Ripple and XRP competitors. Give me a break. I mean, PayPal costs you a fortune, seriously. PayPal, every time PayPal do something for me and I use them because of my business, they charge me 500%, you know, 500 basis points in currency fees and 3 to 5%. You know, PayPal and Visa are not a competitor of Ripple. Seriously, they're just not. Now, this is another great story. TD American Trade. These guys they're worth over $1 trillion. They have millions and millions and millions of clients, right? Millions. And these guys that haven't ruled out they may add XRP to their platform. You know, they have millions of clients and networks. And, you know, the company has been acquired by Charles Schwab Corporation, a well-known financial investment management firm. I mean, again, another story that's going to put Ripple and XRP on the map. Huge, huge. Evan Schwartz has gone to Coil. Again, media stuff, which I wanted to talk to you about. Please don't believe everything you read in the media. Seriously. There is just so much erroneous stuff out there. It's just wrong. Honestly, it's just totally wrong and erroneous. This guy really annoyed me, I have to say, because this is just so incorrect. So this article is just so wrong, as I said. It talks about XRP basically having no significant use in Ripple's technology. XRP tokens have no significant use in Ripple's technology, and it's purely speculative and it's highly manipulated by the Ripple team. Also, if you look at this article, it also talks about it being centralized. And I tell you, this sort of article seriously annoys me. Sorry, Mr. Zafar, but honestly, if you're going to write something, please get it right, because, you know, people in the crypto world read this stuff. Ripple Investment Review. I mean, look at its title, seriously. People read this stuff in the crypto world that don't know, and they think what you're saying is correct. And it's so totally wrong and so totally erroneous, okay? The first thing I will say is Ripple XRP token does have a significant use in Ripple's technology. Number one, if you use RippleNet with XRP internally within Ripple's technology, and what I mean is by internally, you don't go to the exchanges to buy it or sell it, but you're using it on behalf of the client saves 35 cents in the dollar in terms of transaction fees if they are exchanging foreign currency. That's number one. Number two, if RippleNet and XRP are used externally through the exchanges on behalf of the client saves 75 cents in the dollar. So XRP and RippleNet work together to save the client a lot of money. So in other words, it is like adding back to the client's money, revenue, or profit. So I'll give you an example. I have $100. If I go through the banks and I do foreign currency all the time, the banks will charge me $80 cost, right? So 100 less $80. I have 20 left, which is my profit, or the money I can spend. If I go through Ripple and I go to Ripple, I want you to transact my foreign currency, but I don't want to hold XRP. Ripple will transact my foreign currency through their RippleNet system with their own XRP, and I will have in my hands 100, right? Less 100, right? I get back 35 cents, right? Rather than it costing me 80 cents, okay, I save 35 cents off the 80 cents, right? So it'll be 100 less 45, is that right? I'm half asleep today, so my brain's not working very well. I have $55 in my hand that I can spend rather than 20, yeah? Rather than 20 that I went with through the bank. All right, if I go to a RippleNet, I have $100 and I want to transact my foreign currency. Can you buy and sell the XRP for me on the exchanges in my name and do what you got to do so that the money still comes to my account and everything? It only cost me out of my cryptocurrency, rather than it cost me $80 with a bank for the foreign currency, which left me with 20, Ripple gives me back 75 cents, right, for every dollar. So now all of a sudden 100, and I did it through RippleNet externally through XRP, 100 less $5 that it's cost me through RippleNet and XRP. Now in my hands I have $95, which is my profit and loss. So I can spend $95. Now I hope you understand that, Mr. Zavar, because XRP is valuable just because of that. I have more money in my hand using XRP and RippleNet, internally or external, right? Number two, XRP is not heavily manipulated by the Ripple team. Ripple is very aware of the Security Exchange Commission and all the laws in America. This is why they focus on compliance all the time, If Ripple want to get approval by the legal beagles in America, then they have to be seen to be doing the right thing. Because if they don't do the right thing, they can be sued personally as directors from here, as CEOs from here to Timbuktu. That's number one. Number two, the XRP that is released due to escrow and due to the way the system is written. In the technology of Ripple, the way it is written within the code, and I know a bit about code because I'm looking at Python and I understand Python. Within the code, it's automatically set to release $1 billion of XRP a month. When that XRP gets released every month, $1 billion, 1 billion units, whatever it is, 1 billion units I should say, If that XRP does not get picked up by the market, it is not left in an overhang in the market to sell down XRP. In other words, the XRP gets released, not in the market, it's released in the over-the-counter. If there's no institutional buyers for that XRP, it doesn't even hit the market, okay? It doesn't hit the market. So people that say they manipulate it don't know what they're talking about. The XRP gets released in an over-the-counter methodology, right, to institutional buyers. If they're not there to buy it, right, it gets put back into escrow and rolled into the rest of the escrow, and it's basically first in, last out, okay? First in, last out in that basis. Not a FIFO basis, but a first in, last out basis. And that's what happens. And so it gets extended for another month. So they are not allowed to manipulate anything, and they wouldn't do it. You know, they've got a reputation to mainhold as well, but technically, in terms of the system, in terms of the way the system's written, you know, in programming language, they can't do it. They don't get access to XRP. That's my point. Number 3, XRP is not centralized. XRP, from the last time I looked, had 1,100 nodes, which are all decentralized all over the world. And you can see it in their topology. Okay, look at that, Mr. Zafar. I can name many other coins that are centralized, which means they don't have many nodes, or it means they have their administrators operate the technology, right, by pushing transactions through, like IOTA. Stellar, for example, has maximum 70 nodes. And of those 70 nodes, 20% are not decentralized. They're operated by the administrators. They're centralized. NEO has 6 to 8 nodes. They're not decentralized. Even their founder didn't even know how many nodes they had. I forget his name. They questioned him and he couldn't even tell you how many nodes he had. They have 6 to 8. NEO, out of any technology, has the highest risk of being hacked because there's only 6 to 8 nodes. The chance of getting 51% of control of NEO's system is very easy, I have to say, because there's only 6 to 8 nodes. 51% attack on that system and they can steal NEO's coins, okay? And honestly, there's been so many attacks on other technologies, whether it be Bitcoin coin, Bitcoin Gold, I should say, whether it be Verge, you know, whether it be Zcash, the list goes on. They've all had 51% attacks. Now, Ripple's technology has never had an attack. Out of 50 million ledger runs, Ripple's technology has never been hacked. Okay, so what do people need to prove to you then? This is just wrong and incorrect. And what I'll say to my subscribers is please, everything you read, please question it, because this is just wrong, totally wrong, okay? And I don't want you guys, you know, reading stuff that's not correct, because this is really incorrect in a big way. Okay, so then we got another one here, because, you know, every month I look at everything in my Slack. We've got a database of all the cryptocurrencies, all the major ones and more. And we update this every day with news stories about everything, right? We don't want to miss anything. Then there's another one here, which just even got me more upset. And I'm really tired today, so I'm tired and cranky. But this one was by Denny Olowo. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I apologise for that. But this is so misinformed as well about XRP and Ripple. You know, and it just upsets me. You know, it talks about market cap, right, being too big. Talks about centralization. Again, doesn't know anything about, you know, XRP and Ripple are not centralized. Another thing about market cap. Market cap is a very, very simple method of valuation. Now, I've got a whole lecture series, 82 lectures on Udemy about valuation of all different financial assets, including XRP, and it has a new valuation model in there, a new valuation, right? And the thing is, right, this is totally wrong, right? Market cap, a company can have 100 million market cap, another company can have 100 mil market cap, but they're not equivalent, because one company that has 100 mil market cap can have 100 mil of debt. So the company with 100 million of debt is effectively broke. They can have contingent liabilities over and above that, where they're being sued to the hilt, right? Sued massively, right? So market cap doesn't show the rest of what's happening with the business. It doesn't show client prospects. It doesn't show revenue. It doesn't show Ripple have a network of clients, not just 300, but a network of more and more clients, more and more revenue. You know, it has incredible growth prospects going forward. Market cap is erroneous as a valuation method because it is way too simple. And it doesn't take in the debt levels of companies or anything. Okay, it doesn't take in the management, nothing. All it takes in is the issuance by the price. That's it. That's all it takes in. Issuance by the price. Okay? And it's very, very erroneous. Anyway, let's call this up. This is getting later and later. Sorry, guys. Okay, PayPal, not, you know, they charge me 5%. They're not a competitor. Okay, dollar for Ripple, great. Another thing, Bitrue. XR Bones is officially stepping down from Bitrue as an ambassador. I wanted to bring that to your light. Now, I think Bitrue is dangerous. I don't like Bitrue. I really think something's not right here, and I've warned people about this. Bitrue tell lies. According to about 4 different exchange reports I've read on volume and turnover, you know, it's L Dodge. I don't like it, and I've said this about 3 months ago, and I got slammed by the XRP community for saying that. And this fellow, XRP 1000 Bones, thank you for this, basically said he felt he had to resign because he felt that people's investments could be possibly dangerous. Okay, so I would only use the big exchanges, you know, Binance, Gemini, Coinbase, Bitfinex, those that are bona fide, Bitrex, you know, from researchers and things, because seriously, this is not good. Okay, and honestly, I don't like them. I never have. Now, just yesterday we had a huge volume going through for XRP. It was all great and lots of things going on, which was fantastic. And the US were buying and the Koreans were buying, which is fantastic. Just want to, plus we've got this article. Please have a look at that. It's getting a bit long, this. So next I'm going to put on Patreon FlexChimp, and I don't want to record it, but BSV USD. This is Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. And apparently Craig Wright says that this is the real Bitcoin, and he says he is Satoshi. I'm going to be putting something on Patreon, FlexChimp, about this. I think it could be an opportunity. I don't know. I mean, this thing, BSV yesterday traded from $200 to about $422. Massive movement. Okay, and then a couple of weeks before that was like at $80. So, you know, I need to look into this and really understand exactly what's going on here, and I do think this is an opportunity. It could be an opportunity as an investment or maybe a sell, I don't know, but I'm going to be putting this on Patreon or FlexChimp, so please do support me on that. A girl has to make a living. Patreon is $10 per month, or $20 or $45, and FlexChimp, this will just be individual. So anyway, guys, I think that'll do. I'm really, golly, this has gone on for a while. This is education only, not financial advice, and please do look after yourself, be kind to yourself, be kind to everyone, and your animals and the fauna and the environment. Thank you, it's Susie. Thanks for listening.